In this video guide, we're gonna see how we can create a seamless texture in Photoshop. And actually, I'm just gonna get a texture that has some issues, and we're gonna fix it with some Photoshop tools. There are some specific tools that can help us to create, again, seamless texture in any situation. So first thing I wanna get is the texture itself. So again, you may have an image on your computer, or you took a picture of a wall or something, and you want to create a texture out of it. Well, in my case, and to make this quicker, I just search for your texture in Google. I've set up here the Creative Commons license, and I found this one here from Pexels. So when you click here, it's gonna get you here in Pexels, and you can just download this for free. You can just pick a size. I've chosen the medium size because I don't really need a really big texture here to make this example. And also you see here the author, and you can donate and so on. So once you click here and download the free texture, let's see if this is seamless or not, first thing first. So what does it mean to be seamless? Well, let's go inside Photoshop and let's see what it means and how we can fix that. So if I open up the original image, which is this one here, you see that we don't find any issue in this, but we have like a stain here, and apparently no cuts, no seams anywhere. It's just like a flat surface, which is good for a texture. Try to avoid texture that are in some points darker or brighter in a really visible way. So if I go here like with the dodge tool and I start to, and also double click here to unlock the image, and we can work with this. So you can see that if I use the dodge and I make this part wider, and if I use, let's say, the burn and make this part really darker, well, these two elements, when you will be repeating the text, so there will be a really visible effect there. So be careful with that. Just to show you how we can test if this is a good texture, we can just make this a pattern. So if I go to edit and define pattern, let's call this like wrong pattern, and let's do OK. And now if I create a new file, go to File, New, uh, well, you can pick whatever you want. And let's go for this. So if I use the pattern right here, so to do that, I'm going to double click here again on the background. And first of all, again, unlock the background, and then double click again on this white square. And then in the layer style, let's go to pattern overlay. So this is where you can see some patterns, and you can increase or decrease the repetition. Where the more you increase the repetition, the size is decreased, and we can see that texture many times. So if it's a good texture, you will see the repetition not so visibly, so it will be a little bit hidden. Otherwise, if it's a bad texture, the repetition will be clear. So if I use the this one here, which is the wrong pattern that I just created, well, yeah, you can see that the repetition in there. You can see the cuts or the seams right here, and you can see those two stains, those two details repeated over and over again. So they are really visible. There you go. So how can we fix issues like this to make a good repeatable texture? Now let's go here. And of course, the first thing, we need to get rid of these brighter spots or darker spots. So how we can do that? We can use a simple lasso tool like this, and we can use the generative fill, but leave this empty and click generate. So that should fix like uh, the removal of some objects that are right there. So also entire objects, or subjects or characters that you want to remove. If you leave the generative fill empty, it's gonna remove everything. And there you go. So another way is to use the simple patch here tool, or spot healing brush tool. So that's gonna be like the quickest. So I'm gonna go for the spot healing brush tool, and then I'm gonna brush on top of this stain, and there you go. Now you can continue also to fix things here and there. And another you can use is the, if you think something is not so fine, you can also use the content aware fill. And so right click, content aware fill, and that's kind of another artificial intelligence um, tool that you can use. But I see some seams here because I've used the rectangle probably. Otherwise, another one is to right click and do the content aware fill from here. And also you can do the, well, that's not too good. So just, try and see which one works better. But now we don't have anything to delete, so I'm just gonna go back, Control Z, so we can see this a little bit better like this. So I can also use the delete and fill selection. So also another smart. So you see how many of these we have to hide. Now you also can use the clone stamp tool. Hold the Alt key, click, and then paint. So Alt click and paint in an area that you like over an area that you think is too dark or too bright. Now, once you finished hiding the mistakes or like the errors or some too visible element, you can go to see the seams. So if you go to filter, other, and go to offset, you can see that we are starting to move around the texture here vertically and horizontally. And by doing this, the seams will be definitely more visible. So now I can see there is a seam right here. And so I start to Alt click with the clone tool and start to hide these parts like this. Try to hide all the seams the best that you can. It's like, covering tracks. There you go. And let's change again the offset. So filter, other, offset, and let's change this a little bit more. Just go around, see if you spot some other point that you have, like, again, wider areas or seams or elements that seem repeated and so on. So these are the tools you can use, but there are also like other options. Just these are the ones that I think are the best and quickest and fastest and simplest to do this. So once you finish, let's save this and let's call these seamless texture 2. Save, and there you go. Now I also want to save these as a pattern, so edit and define pattern, and let's say okay. And now I want to go back to this and try this new pattern. So double click, go to pattern overlay, click on this little arrow, and that the fourth one will be the last one that I created. And there you go. So we still see some repetition here, but we don't see the cuts anymore. And especially if I go bigger, it's gonna be better. The more I repeat the texture, the more it gets smaller, the more the repetition will be visible. But we did a good enough job here, and you can of course continue to make it better and better. So again, this is just a quick um, overview of how we can get rid of the seams in a texture. You can also compare these two. So let me just close these, and I'm gonna open the original here and go to window arrange to vertical, and there you go. So this they look the same here, but if I start to use the offset, you will see the difference. So filter, other, offset. So this is the one we created now, and let's go here and see the offset here. And there you go. Those are the seams. So really visible. So this will be all for this video guide. I hope you enjoyed. If you did, please subscribe to the channel and stay updated for other courses and other guides. And if you want to thank us, support us, please join the channel as a supporter. Thank you and see you in the next video guide.